Hello and welcome back to the Space Jam Continuum. I'm Chris McLennan.
I'm Carl Noble.
And we're going to carry on our quest, fueled by tea and cheese, to try and build the wacky world of Looney Tunes into a cohesive cinematic universe. And this is an episode we've been looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because
I'm really excited about this.
The first episode this week is Porky's Hare Hunt, which is the first appearance of Happy Rabbit, who is the rabbit who evolves into Bugs Bunny. However, the version of the cartoon I'm watching is labelled Bugs Bunny's, open brackets, also known as Happy Rabbit, then, close brackets, first appearance, open brackets, barely recognisable, close brackets, Porky's Hare Hunt.
So, I don't think he's going to be the Bugs Bunny we all know and love.
I don't think he's going to be What's Up docking around.
No. Chewing on carrots.
It might chew on some carrots.
Yeah.
He is a happy rabbit.
He is a happy rabbit, but I don't know if he's going to chew on a carrot the same way as all bugs can.
Well, he honed that.
He did.
He honed that over many a year.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's find out.
Yeah. So
watch along at home. You're looking for Porky's Hare Hunt, April 30th, 1938. Well, barely recognisable seems fair.
Yes. Yeah, he that's not what I would class as bugs, without being told.
Yeah, but then Egghead, we didn't have as Elmer, and he's growing into Elmer.
He is, so I imagine bugs will go. I mean, he hasn't really got that far to go, because
his antics are similar, but they're not deployed with the same sort of nonchalance and sort of dry wit as we expect from bugs.
He seemed more along the lines of Daffy.
Daffy dressed up as the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, but like in an actual good costume this time.
Last
time he hadn't put any effort in.
He really pulled that together quickly, though.
Yeah. Whereas this time, if you told me, this is Daffy dressed up in a really good rabbit costume, I'd have been like, yes it is, because he's bouncing around.
Yeah.
He does use his head as a helicopter, though.
He does. That's led me to believe that, because we've seen quite a lot of the non-sentient or like semi-sentient animals do these cartoony sort of powers.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, things that your average person can't do.
Whereas the sort of super intelligent animals, the ones who are living in the society, you don't see them use those powers.
No.
I can't think of any instance, really.
Maybe it's not that they don't have them. Maybe they do have them, but maybe it's a faux pas to use them.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe it's like a social faux pas to demonstrate, because it's seen as a lesser thing.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, so maybe it's a taboo of sorts.
Yeah. So it is possible, but just not what you do in normal society.
Yeah.
I can go outside and walk around naked if I wanted to and show my bumhole to people. But you just don't do it. Whereas for dogs...
Some people do it.
Some people do it, but it's seen as don't do that. Whereas for like dogs and other animals, see them walking around with their pants on and tails up, bumhole out, no one's bothered.
Maybe. So that's an interesting paradigm to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us a good idea. So when we see other creatures in there, if they're demonstrating more cartoon-esque powers, then we know kind of where they stand in their not just social stand, but evolutionary standing.
Another thing I've noticed in the time we've been following Porky is that he was, like the first episode we watched, he was hunting, and then he's been a bit of a peacenik since he's like lived in the city.
Yeah,
and then he's moved back to the farm, and he had a bit of a war with Daffy Quacko Duck.
Quacko.
And now he seems to be back on it again. He's quite violent.
I mean, the thing is that he gets hurt a bit in that, and rightly so.
Yeah, I think he has it coming to him.
Yeah, definitely. Which is odd, because like he's the protagonist, he's the one who you should be
rooting
for, but in this one, you're definitely rooting.
But then that's one of the few things that would point me towards like believing that that's going to evolve into Bugs Bunny, because he sort of becomes
the one you always want to win.
The Looney Tune, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
He's sort of aspirational. Porky's a bit of a goofball.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny's kind of wily and
that's it. Like
sly.
at the moment, like Porky's been our main character all the way through. Everyone else is kind of just
and it's been a journey already.
Yeah.
Like,
whereas, like when we get into what I remember from Looney Tunes as a child is Bugs Bunny's your main character. Porky's almost he's a side character, one that you don't really know that well. Whereas it seems, they did a good few years of just Porky.
Yeah, I mean we don't get Bugs named as Bugs.
Yeah. For quite a while.
Until, I don't think, 1940. We get quite a lot of Happy Rabbit. It'll be interesting to see if he's going through those transitions, or if he's just Happy Rabbit and then they just go, do you know what? No, we're just changing that.
Yeah.
And it's what we're starting to see with Egghead and Elmer.
He is starting to change slowly. He's becoming more human-esque.
So
he's got the hat.
So yeah, that what would confirm that sort of theory is if Happy Rabbit has a slow transition to a more Bugsy,
or whether or not they just
scrap Happy Rabbit
and
bung Bugs in.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a lot raised about the society in that. It was pretty much just Porky and Bugs running around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
with his new dog.
He's got a new dog. We've got to presume that Rover either died. He was getting on a bit.
He was getting on.
Or when Porky was down on his luck again, had to move back to the farm.
Yeah,
his sub
didn't
really feel like that was a suitable dom sub relationship anymore.
Well, because then he's now kind of subordinate to his parents, I guess, at that point. So
yeah, and it just wasn't doing it for Rover anymore.
No, he wasn't getting nothing from it, so he decided.
He found someone else.
Find a new dom, maybe.
Yeah, and we can only presume.
Yeah, he might turn up in a later episode. You never know.
We'll see.
But Rover definitely seemed like just a dog.
Yes,
he didn't seem to. He didn't demonstrate anything overly sentient.
No, he did, because in Rover's Rival, as soon as there was dynamite, he ran upstairs. He was on the phone.
Oh, that's true. Yes, yeah. I mean, what I meant to say was zero in this one. Sorry.
Right.
He's just a dog.
Oh yeah, he's just a dog. I think. Yeah.
He didn't demonstrate anything overly sentient.
Okay, so next up is one called Engine Trouble, which means we might have a spot of Racism Trouble on our hands again.
It's not part of the Censored 11, but with a title like that.
But I believe I have a feeling it's going to be a Wild West job again. So maybe
back in time.
Maybe we're dealing with Porky's great granddad again.
Yeah.
By our current theory, I'm going to go in assuming that if it turns out to be a Wild West one.
Yeah.
All right. For those watching at home, you're looking for Engine Trouble, but I've got a note here, not to be confused with the final Warner Brothers cartoon of the same name, released in 1969, starring Cool Cat.
Oh.
There's also a colour remake called Wagon Heels. So if you're having trouble finding Engine Trouble, maybe try Wagon Heels. Okay, let's give it a go. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be on the racism front.
No, it was...
After the last depiction of engines in Porky's Pony Express or whatever it's called.
Yeah. That wasn't terrible.
I thought it was going to be worse, but Injun Joe seemed like a reasonably sympathetic character this time round.
Yeah.
So Porky's on a caravan. At this point, we see a map at the start. Injun Joe seems to have run of most of the states.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've got to presume this is before even Porky's Pony Express.
I think so.
But yeah, they've got a caravan going out. Told to look out for Injun Joe. He's this big Native American guy who
splits mountains.
He cleft the mountains in twain, his passage to allow.
Yes, he did.
He really wasn't big on walking around things.
No. No. Trees just went
mighty.
straight through them.
It was definitely a human Toon, as was the sort of outcast bearded hick guy.
Yeah.
Who
Unnamed.
We
have no idea who that guy was.
Who kept telling Porky that he knew something that he wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
But he could lean against stuff that wasn't there.
Yeah, he could full on mime it.
And we saw Injun Joe jump off a mountain, sort of turn into a plane.
Yeah. So they have Toon powers and are more than willing.
But these are human Toons, and these are the first time we've seen human Toons use cartoon powers, and they are both outside of what Porky and his
have as a civilized community.
Yeah, consider a civilized community. So it's possible that using your cartoon powers is seen as sort of savage or barbaric.
Yes, yeah. Kind of just only lesser people.
So I think that's supported our thoughts
theory.
before.
I think so.
Did we get much else out of that? Other than this has to be at least Porky's great grandfather, possibly even more further back, because of the map, just because of how much of it was Indian territory and then USA, but
the
USA was just a thin East Coast sliver.
Yeah.
Whereas when it was Pony Express,
there was much more of it. Yeah. To be honest, that wasn't really a. It was a fun episode, and I enjoyed it, but it didn't help. Not a lot went on.
It supported a previous theory, but I don't think it really raised anything else.
No, it didn't really have a start, middle, and end. It seemed to have a start and then it ended. There was no real storyline kind of going on. The caravan made an appearance again briefly and got shot up a little bit, but
I don't think it raised very much.
No.
Interestingly, you were saying it wasn't nearly as cringeworthy on the race front as we expected. And somebody that was a Looney Tunes feature. The next one we would have watched is an Egghead, and it's Merry Melodies number. Now, I think there must have been some sort of rift in the Looney Tunes Merry Melodies people, because the next one is Merry Melodies,
and
it's called
Censored 11.
It's called The Isle of Pingo Pongo.
Yeah,
and it's part of the Censored 11 for reasons that I think you can probably ascertain.
Yeah, with a title like that, I think it's safe to say it's going to be
safe to say
it's going to be.
We don't need to incorporate that. So we're going to move on to the next one, which it looks like Porky might be back in the city. It's called Porky the Fireman, June 4th, 1938. Right then, how are you feeling about that? Disappointed.
I felt really good about it for most of it, and now I don't feel that good about it.
So the trouble we're having here is there was a bit where a guy was falling from a burning building, and then he fell through some smoke, and then he sort of became
blacked up on the way through.
Blacked up, and it was not okay. It's a shame. It's a shame.
It's just unnecessary. I mean, I know it's all unnecessary, but just don't do it.
I know.
Can we go back in time and just go, look? No.
Just no.
Just
maybe we can.
Oh.
We'll have to learn to manipulate the threshold.
Okay, that's the plan for the rest
of
the
week. Once we hit
then.
Roger Rabbit, I think hopefully we'll have enough information.
Okay. So not a plan for the rest of the week. We need to get to that.
Well, unless something crops up much sooner than I'm expecting.
But besides that, interesting. So Porky, fireman. He's got a job as a fireman, but he's not a fireman in the city. He's in a slightly larger town.
It seems like a town, but it doesn't look like it's in New York. And there's a lot of humans living there.
Yeah, and
I don't know if the city was New York. I just was assuming it was.
I'm not sure. I think when we've come across it before, they've never identified it.
But anyway, he's not in the big city.
He's not in the big city now, and they're going to put out a fire at a high-rise flats.
Yeah.
And the fire is sentient.
Yeah, which is always a bummer.
Yeah, so you've got fire and it is actively trying to kill people and actively trying to not be put out. It stops Porky, who's about to throw a bucket of water on. Yeah. The fire grabs the bucket of water and throws it on Porky.
Well, he hands the bucket of water to the fire. I think he thinks he's handing it to it. It was silly. That was
silly. For a fireman.
But
I think he's not going to be a fireman in the next episode.
I'm willing to take that action. But yeah, interestingly, though, he would not have been in a situation where he had to use a bucket of water if an old friend of ours had not been manning the hose.
Murdering Dog.
Murdering Dog is back.
Yeah, unnamed, so he's called Murdering Dog at the moment.
Trudging sort of slope forward walk and his corncob pipe.
Yeah, his move back now.
And his bad attitude.
He's got a really bad attitude.
But he's back and
murdering.
And he's murdering again.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, before we didn't know whether or not he actually murdered anybody, but it's safe to say he definitely seriously injured some people if he didn't murder them.
Yeah, and I also think, like, now, like, we're pretty much sure he definitely was trying to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Mabel, the fat lady's there. She's crying for help.
Yeah.
He climbs up the ladder and goes, "What do you want?" She goes, "Put me on the pavement." He just lobs her.
He does. He picks her up, very strong, and just drops her off the side of the ladder. And you hear
it's a tall building.
A loud bang when she hits the ground. And I was expecting her to bounce back up. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
that's what I expected to happen. But it didn't.
But this dog is at large. And no one seems to have noticed.
Didn't get put away the first time.
I doubt we'll get put away this time.
I don't think he's going to be put away this time. It was weird. What's his crack?
I don't know. I'm hoping we find out. I'm hoping there's a...
I hope he gets named at some point. I'd like to put a name to his murdering dog face.
Find out who he is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping later on there's sort of more sort of thriller-esque episode where maybe some of our favourite Toons are detectives. They're going to put him away for good.
Yeah, I mean, he needs it. He's worse than Killer.
Well, we don't know that. We didn't really see what Killer did the first time.
Said he was put away for murder. Maybe there's a certain number, like, you know, obviously in our world, like, you kill one person, you're a murderer. But maybe there, you've got to kill, like, 50 people to become a murderer.
He's going for it.
Oh, he is. I mean, I reckon, first lot we seen him kill was maybe...
15?
Yeah, 12 to 15 people.
Okay,
this one, he's got one.
I'm calling his count at 16 that we've seen.
So, shall we keep count as how many people he
kills?
How many people he kills, and whether or not...
We're going to have some good infographics, I think.
Yeah.
Past a certain point.
Yeah. Because I think if we're just taking it as on-screen kills... Then he's at 16. Short of going back and actually counting how many people were stood around that hole. But then are we going to assume that there's off-screen?
I think we would, but we don't know how we're going to...
No. I think it's better if we just stick to
on-screen kills.
On-screen deaths. That he's directly responsible for. And yeah, hopefully at some point he'll get picked up and we'll go, right, it's that many.
Yeah. And then we'll call that the limit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the point at which you are called a murderer
that's
is at least 32 confirmed.
32 on-screen deaths equals murderer.
It seems very...
That's a lot, isn't it?
Very brazen way to deal with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was really the only things in the episode which I thought needed talking about.
Yeah, I don't think much else was brought up. You know, we briefly brought up the fact that even elements like, well, you know,
fire and water,
like, you know, I don't mean elements. I'm assuming like traditional, the classic air, fire, water.
Yeah, the classic 4 elements.
They've started doing their own thing now.
Yeah, and the fire won at the end of that.
Yeah, the fire was still going.
The
building had burnt down.
He mowed down all of the firemen with a water hose and was victorious.
Which is odd because the water earlier was sentient and trying to stop him.
Did actually went after the fire.
Whereas this water complied.
Well, I think it's straight out of the hose though. It hasn't got time to react and turn around.
Was it slowed down a bit?
Yeah, I think it's been shot out and it's going in the direction. And once it's slowed down enough, it can then take over. Because if you got shot out of a cannon,
it would be a long time before I could do anything about it.
Yeah,
probably.
You'd have to
probably too long.
Yeah, well, yeah, too long to stop yourself from hitting something.
I'm going to opt to not find out.
I think it's best. I mean, we can maybe in one episode start doing some experiments to see whether or not we can activate Toon powers.
I think the listenership would have had to take a severe dip. And as it is at this stage, presumably not high.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't start with
I don't think we should start firing me or indeed anyone else out of a cannon until we've really exhausted some other options.
I'm down for that. That seems fair.
So the next one we're going to look at, I'm afraid we're going to have to skip another triple Cal number of Catnip College because there's no characters in it. We're going for Porky's Party. Which, so fun. He's got something to celebrate at least, which has been a while for Porky.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing exceptionally well. He's had a bit of a
rough patch.
Yeah, a bit of a bad run of it. It was after that bank thing. We thought he was
I thought he was going to do quite well after that, and then because
all of a sudden he was back home.
Yeah, that shook him. That's what shook him up.
Possibly that's it. Yeah, like maybe he didn't.
Also, he had a self-esteem sort of crisis because Petunia ran off with Killer.
Yeah, because he was the hero. He did really well, but yeah, I think maybe he's just went. Oh, I don't know if this city lives for me. It's a bit dangerous. I got kidnapped, possibly tortured.
Hopefully, though, he's going to follow the Tom Cruise film arc that Rich Hall lays out. It's like he's a bank teller.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good bank teller too. Then he has a crisis of confidence.
Yeah.
But with the love of a good woman, he comes back to be the best bank teller in the world.
But he didn't get the love of a good woman.
Yeah, but that's why he's in the down patch at the minute. He's in late act 2 of the Tom Cruise film format.
Okay, so hopefully
let's see if Porky's Party.
Oh, love interest
is where he can.
Oh, come on, Porky, you can do it.
So, Porky's Party.
I don't know why I'm rooting for Porky now after
recent events.
Yeah.
Well, we've come quite a way with Porky.
We have. I do feel a certain attachment to him.
Exactly. It's nice to see him doing well. So, Porky's Party. June 25th, 1938. Check it out. Well, he didn't find the love of a good woman.
No, but I think he likes to dress up like a good woman, though.
I think that... I don't know, because the silkworm made lots of lady clothes.
Oh, he was sent a silkworm
no matter
from
what.
his uncle.
Yeah.
Just in case nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, they're not going to put the work in.
Well, that's true. If you're not going to watch it, you can be lost. I mean, the silkworm one's just creating a lot of lady clothes. But Porky's reaction to that first bra popping out.
Yeah, he really didn't want what we thought at the time was Rover, and
it does look a bit like Rover.
I still think it is. I think Rover's still about, or is back on the scene.
Yeah. But yeah, he hid it in such a way as...
He didn't want Rover to see.
Yeah, like it was, ooh, what's that doing there? I should probably hide that.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, the silkworm's producing
I'm surprised
bras.
to see this. It's just about hide this.
Yeah.
I think it was Rover.
I think it was Rover.
Looking better. Maybe Rover was just ill before.
Yeah, I mean, like in the past episode, it was kind of said that he was just getting old and getting on a bit. It alluded to that.
So maybe it's just his type.
Yeah.
Maybe he traded Rover in for a younger model, but not quite as young of a model as that little scrappy pup from Rover's rival.
Because that's it. He wasn't named in that as Rover.
No. Just looked like Rover.
But it is possible with the sub-dom relationship that Porky has with his dogs that any dog of that type he's probably always going to call Rover.
Maybe. Who knows? But the dog's there.
Gets drunk.
Gets pretty drunk.
On hair regrowth. Because he covers himself in it. Porky puts a little bit on his head and then combs his head, but he never grows any hair on his head.
Yeah.
Whereas that dog just starts drinking it because it's 99% alcohol.
Yeah.
And he seems to really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely has an issue there. Porky has his own problems this episode. He's having a birthday party. Yeah. Only 2 people come around for his birthday party. A penguin, unnamed, and a goose, which I'm sure we called Lucy Goosey.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you did call it Lucy.
And Penguin ate all of his cake, and Lucy Goosey
called him a fat boy.
Yeah. So
I think not very friendly. I mean, Gabby Goat wasn't there. I thought Gabby was going to turn up. It
got us asking, what's happened to Gabby Goat? Yeah,
where is Gabby? Because him and Porky
were best buds.
Best of buds, despite their differences. Best of buds.
But we realised we haven't seen Gabby Goat since
they struck Rich in the oil.
They struck Rich on the oil in that one where that weasel tried to scam him.
So yeah, I think Gabby's
Get Rich Quick Porky. It was called.
That was it.
Yeah,
I think Gabby's done one on his winnings. He'd probably done better
Porky
than Porky.
Looked like he'd done okay afterwards, and Gabby looked like he'd done okay afterwards, and then Porky we've watched have a tough patch.
Yeah, he did have a
and we've seen nothing of Gabby Goat. So I wonder if Gabby Goat is actually being a full-on tycoon somewhere.
Maybe. I'm sure Gabby will make an appearance again.
Yeah,
and that might answer. You know, if he comes in like a top hat and a tuxedo or something, then he's probably done quite well.
But yeah,
but knowing Gabby's general demeanour, I think he's going to whiff it.
Yeah, I reckon so.
He's going to get angry. He's going to headbutt the wrong person.
But then maybe that demeanour works in the circles he's now mixing in. It's not good for getting there, but if you've managed to get there, might keep you there.
Yeah, it might.
So yeah. But like society-wise, didn't help very much.
No, we didn't leave his house.
You know. Yeah, he didn't leave his house. He's got a couple of new friends, but I don't think they're really his friends.
I think it was just kind of...
Mainly got us asking, what's happened to Gabby?
Yeah.
So, the next one is an Egghead number.
Ah, yes.
Not banned this time, but it is still a Tex Avery number, so I reckon it's going to be a bit...
on the nose.
We are looking at Cinderella Meets Fella. An Egghead cartoon. So
do you think he's going to be the fella in this?
I don't know. I mean, he was listed as being part of that Little Red Walking Hood, and he just sort of went around whistling.
Yeah, he did quite well in the end.
He's been doing some weird shit. Egghead.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, but I mean, look at him. He is a bit weird, isn't he?
I know, and he was only the hero in that one, in that sort of push you into the road and then grab you and say saved your life kind of way. Because
well, yeah, he did.
He pointed the wolf to
He did
our
facilitate
house.
The whole thing and then take the wolf out in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a...
He's a piece of work.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work.
Well, I don't ever remember Elmer Fudd being particularly well liked, necessarily. He wasn't a great character. He was normally up against Bugs.
Yeah.
So you were never really going for Elmer.
Do you know who I really want to win right now? Elmer Fudd.
That Egghead. Motherfucker.
Yeah. So, Cinderella Meets Fella, July 23rd, 1938, for those watching along at home. Let's do this. Fuck me.
He's an egg!
Well, there's that.
He's an egg!
Well, you already thought he was an egg.
I know, but he's shot.
He took his egg head off.
Off? So he's got some sort of animatronic body.
Yeah, how's he operating it?
I don't know. Egg power.
Do you think it's like a chick within the egg?
Yeah.
Like maybe like strings through the shell of the egg
to pull
operating the body?
Yeah, I don't know.
He took the head off.
He did like
he took his entire head.
He doffed his
entire head,
but his head came with, and it had a little stalk, which was his neck.
A couple of interesting things in this before we get to the full on, like.
Oh yeah, the mind blowing bit.
Yeah, this is like this has happened much quicker than I expected.
Yeah.
But first up, we've got, even though it's kind of modern, like they've got the wireless, they've got telephones, they've got police service with cars and stuff,
and way too much money.
Although that interesting. That's an interesting.
Or maybe they've
thing.
just got nothing else to do.
Maybe, but but it's a mainly human settlement.
Yeah,
with a medieval vibe, but it's definitely not back in time. It's definitely contemporary. So this leads me to believe, like, similar to the area in Wyoming, which was still sort of Wild Westy in 1938, that was also all run by humans.
Yeah.
But people have just got their settlements and they've got whatever vibe they sort of fancy.
Yeah, so
this
these guys went for medieval fantasy sort of.
It's almost like
fairy
a
tale,
possibly sort of strange tribal thing. They've just gone for what they want. Like they've gone for their own style.
They've found an era and went, this is what we're about.
This is what we're about. Because there's a lot of anachronistic things in both.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here we've got basically a slight tweak on the Cinderella story, but ultimately it's kind of the same.
It's a classic.
Cinderella. Egghead is Prince Charming.
Yeah.
How we got to that
because he comes dressed in his normal garb.
But then, like, I think that's...
He's just wandered into that town.
Well, I don't think there's really a monarchy there. I think it's something you get. Maybe it's like Westworld. You can just go there to do your thing. So he's gone there. He's living out the Prince Charming dream.
Yeah, because he was introduced as Prince Charming.
But yeah, so he comes down. Dances with Cinderella. He seems very pleased that he's managed to do it, which supports the he's an egg theory. Because he's not doing anything impressive. But he is doing something that's impressive for an egg masquerading as a man.
Like he dances and he's like, "Look, I'm doing it," as if he's never done it before.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty happy with that. Egghead is actually an egg. On a puppet body. Theory. But yeah, as she does, Cinderella has to leave at midnight. But in this case, because the free parking's run out. She's brassic.
Yeah. She can't afford that.
She deliberately leaves the slipper rather than it just coming off. Egghead goes looking for her. She's got neon signs all around her house going on to Cinderella's house. So she definitely went there with an agenda. She knew what she was doing.
That's probably why she can't afford the parking.
That's also,
neon lights
but also it supports the sort of Westworld sort of vibe because she's gone there as Cinderella to be Cinderella.
Yes, yeah.
That's why she can call up somewhere and go, my fairy godmother hasn't arrived.
There's an appointment.
Like, she's booked this in. She's bought a package.
Yeah. She has bought the Cinderella package.
But yeah, at the end, Egghead turns up at her house. She's gone. He finds a note. Yeah. And it says, I got tired of waiting. I've gone to a Warner Brothers show. And then, for the first time in a few episodes, we've seen the silhouettes. We've seen the people who are in the sort of limbo between our world and their world. Yeah. Silhouette Cinderella. And she's in the fifth row. She
gives him a wave and says, "I'm here in the fifth row."
Now that it was the front row. Third row was first.
Yeah.
And then we had some people going out into the second row. Someone was shot in the second row.
It was.
So we thought the threshold was subsiding, but now it's out to the fifth.
But it's pushed back really hard. She did then make her way back into the cartoon,
which is the first time we've seen. It's the first time we've seen a
cartoon
themselves leave rather than just
bunnies, and then go back in,
and then at the end, as the
black circle
comes in. They step out of it, presumably, into our world.
Yep, so the portal, we assume that's the portal closing.
So those iconic, rings you see at the start of Looney Tunes,
so
they are the edges of the portal.
Yeah. And they stepped out into our world and the portal closed. We've got to assume that
I reckon they've got to wait for another Warner Brothers show to get back in.
Yeah. They've got to wait for it to open up and for them to step back.
Yeah.
So what ramifications that has on our world? I mean, maybe we should look back through the history books and see if anything...
See what happened.
Untoward happened on that date.
Yeah, I mean, so let's have a look-see. June 23rd, 1938. And the earliest they'd have been able to get back in... they could have got back in during Porky's spring planting, but... That's a follow-up to 1937's Porky's Garden, which we know is set in 1927. Which means they would have gone back in time.
Oh, God.
So they've got a 2-day window before they can go to another Warner Brothers show, hop back in. But that would take them back in time in the Toon world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, they are out of there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, God.
Till August 6th,
of August.
1938.
Well, it would be interesting to find
Shall I
out.
have a look to see if anything of note happened between those times?
I think so.
Okay. So, this is very interesting. So, in the days running up to June 23rd, 1938, like, obviously we're already looking at the start of, like, you know, the things that are leading up towards
the things that are getting us there.
And, you know, some real shitty stuff has happened in, like, the month preceding. But, you know, it's the odd thing here and there. But then you hit June 23rd, 1938, when the Toons leapt out. Immediately, June 23rd, 1938, Hermann Goering decreed that effective July 1st, all German men and women of any professional trade could be conscripted to take up work for the state. June 24th, 1938, the Royal Air Force launched a new recruitment campaign and received 1,000 inquiries on the first day alone. June 25th, 1938, the Spanish government threatened to bomb Italian-dominated towns in the Balearic Islands in retaliation for Italian bombing raids on the civilians during the Civil War. Italy responded with threats to wipe Spanish Republican cities off the map. June 27th, 2 more British cargo ships in Spanish ports are attacked by warplanes. June 29th, 40,000 Austrian Jews and spouses of Jews were dismissed from their jobs in the private sector. The House of Commons on June 30th made amendments to the Official Secrets Act. A lot suddenly started happening, like nearly every day, and then it sort of ties up in August. So I've got to believe that, you know, I don't know how they would have affected it, but it might have just been a ripple effect.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like,
I
sum things up.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would have had any sort of like direct interaction, and why would they? But yeah, the idea that they've done something which breaks a fundamental law of our universe.
Yeah, some people just felt ripples, right? They felt an eldritch force.
Yeah, there was just something that shouldn't have been.
And a lot of things that were sort of brewing suddenly come into fruition. It just has to happen right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared, everyone's confused.
Possibly things that weren't sentient before became momentarily sentient, and it just drove certain things to happen.
I don't know what effect Toons in our world have.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like when we get round to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I know we keep going back to this, and we haven't got to it yet, but that is... Toons are in our world.
Yeah. And we get to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's affected, but if that's kind of if it's already happened and that was the result of, then maybe, you know, our universe starts kind of becoming acclimatized to it. But the initial impact of Toons crossing over it's massive. Obviously massive. It's very clearly affected our history.
Accelerated a lot of things, even though those things were happening.
Yeah, they didn't happen as quickly.
They were definitely like, you know, there was a solid week there of just now this is happening, now this is happening, now this is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they spent a while out here. But
scary.
It means that the next time they could have jumped back in is realistically, is August 6th, 1938. Unless they do because otherwise they'd travel in time. And I think we'd have seen evidence of that already.
I think, yeah, because that I'd imagine would have affected their world quite...
Well, we'd have seen them earlier.
Yes.
And yeah, it would have been iffy. So I'm going to call it they let back in at Porky and Daffy on August 6th, 1938. Do you want to close this one up by watching Porky's Spring Planting?
Yeah, I think so. May as well.
It's a follow-up to 1937's Porky's Garden, which is the one that's set in 1927.
Yeah.
Now, we had concluded that sometime between 1927 and 1937 was when the rift between the human world and the Toon world really started to manifest properly.
Yeah, so that's where the demarcation came in a full effect, really. Just animals and humans not coexisting as well.
Well, with that in mind, I think we're coming up to episode time, so maybe we'll start up next week with that follow-up and see if we can really try and cement what happened.
Yeah, because I think like them leaping out into our world is a good place to
leave
it.
And
just
it's
so
a good
we
thing
get
for
our
us
heads
to
around it.
stew on a bit as well.
Try
And if you guys have any ideas as to
if you can find any photos, any like past photographs on the internet, like things that have happened in the past where they have made an appearance.
Yeah, if you can see any sort of like rallies with
Goebbels,
Goering, Egghead.
Yeah, that would be really hard. I mean, we will troll the internet, but obviously more people looking, the better, I think.
Yeah, like we'd really like to get your help on a lot of these things. Yeah. Any theories you've got, any discrepancies you can see in what we've come up with so far, we're up for considering. So
yes, yeah.
With that in mind, we'll call it there for this week, and we'll see you all next week for a Porky Spring Planting. So it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
If you notice anything that we might have got wrong, or any comments, or you just want to say hello, or goodbye, or good evening, or good night, you can contact us on Twitter at TSJCommunity, or you can drop us an email at thespacejamcontinuum@gmail.com.